Well, thank you, Joshua, very much for your very kind introduction. I'd like to add a sentence or two to what Joshua said, to put a punctuation point on what he talked about in his introduction, about a governor who's been able to overcome obstacles on the pathway to becoming governor. And it just goes to show, and hopefully everybody here knows, maybe you don't, but obviously you have seen that I'm in a wheelchair. And you may know that I'm in a wheelchair because I suffered an injury when I was 26 years old when a tree crashed into my back, fracturing my vertebrae and my spinal cord, leaving me immediately paralyzed and forever using the wheelchair that I'm in. But my point is this, that elaborates on what Joshua said. It's so important that I want all of the students here to comprehend. We live in a state so great that a young man's life can be literally broken in half and still rise up and become governor of this great state. That is the opportunity that Texas provides. Jason, also want to thank you. In addition to Pancake and Peaches, my dogs, I have a fabulous wife, the First Lady of Texas, Cecilia. I bring her up because she herself has been a teacher and a principal, and I know the rigors of what you go through. I know the important role that education plays, but I know how much time that it takes. Before I get into that, however, I want to make a couple of other comments real quick. When the first choir began to sing, this screen right here, it obstructed my view of the choir. All I could hear were voices. And when I heard our national anthem, it sounded like it was truly angels who were singing it. It's the most beautiful rendition of our national anthem that I have ever heard. Thank you to the choir for doing that. And speaking of angelic, how about deep in the heart of Texas? It does not get better than that. Also, I want to thank you for your remarkable description of what it means to be a citizen. All Americans, all Texans, need to be reminded of your message today. So thank you so very much for sharing it with us. Trying to get rid of the extra noise. We're working on it. We'll get there, but as we work towards getting there, seems like it may be getting worse. Anyway, there's somebody on the screen I want to get to real quick because you can see him right here. A great friend of mine, but more importantly, a great friend and leader for education in the United States of America, my friend Bill Bennett, who's joining us. Secretary Bennett. You probably know that he served as Secretary of Education under President Reagan, and you probably know that his books that he has written are used right here in Founders Academy of Louisville, one of which, actually two of which, I have read myself. And so, Bill, Secretary, thank you very much for taking time to be a part of this fabulous presentation tonight. Give it up for Governor. Secretary Bill Bennett.
Thank you very much.
As everybody in this gym tonight knows, education is essential for our children and essential to build a pathway for their future. That said, I want to be clear. Nothing is more important to the future of our state than our children. No one is more important to those children's future than their parents. It is their parents that is our focus tonight. Listen, I've been a very strong supporter of public education. I attended public schools, including one in Dallas County when I was growing up as a kid. As governor, I've devoted more funding toward public education than any governor in the history of our state. But all that being said, we need to understand that at the end of the day, no government program can replace the role that parents play in the education of their children. Our focal point is to ensure that parents are put at the forefront both of the education of the children as well as the decision-making for their child's health care. While students around the country were forced to stay at home learning only by virtual education, in Texas, we opened our schools in the summer of 2020. And in doing so, we empowered parents with the decision-making authority about whether or not to send their school for in-person learning or to keep them at home for a virtual education. Also, this past fall, while local governments across America imposed mask mandates for students, I issued an executive order banning those mask mandates in our schools. Instead, we empowered parents to make the decision about what is in the best interest of their children. And when parents have grown rightfully upset about critical race theory being taught and used in our schools, I have signed 2 laws banning the use or teaching of critical race theory in all grades in all public schools in the entire state of Texas. When you see the various different ways that government seems to be intruding into parental decision-making process, you see that what's happening is that the essential role of parents is being threatened by government itself. Parents are losing a voice when it comes to their child's education and health care matters. Many parents are growing increasingly powerless about what to do to be able to regain that control. That must end. I am running for re-election to create a Parents' Bill of Rights to restore parents as the primary decision makers of their child's education and health care issues. Here's what we'll do. It starts with amending the Texas Constitution. And before I go on, I will say this is the first time I've been at a school presentation where I actually heard a student make reference to the Texas Constitution. Congratulations to you on that. But under the Parental Bill of Rights, we will amend the Texas Constitution to make clear that parents are the primary decision makers in all matters involving their children. And when it comes to the classroom, Texas parents have every right to know what their children are being taught. Under my plan, we will expand parents' access to school curriculum and make sure that material is available through online or other easy accessible ways. And we will ensure that parents' concerns about school curriculum or policies will be heard quickly and respectfully. And under my plan, Texas will give parents the option to decide if their child should repeat a course or a grade level instead of leaving that decision solely to the school district. And we must also protect our children's privacy while they are in school. Under this Parental Bill of Rights, Texas will prohibit the selling or sharing of students' personal data outside of the Texas public education system. We will also protect our students from obscene content. Texas will ensure that any educational personnel who is convicted of providing minors with obscene content will lose their educational credentials and state licensing, forfeit their retirement benefits, and be placed on a do not hire list. Finally, we will empower parents to uphold accountability in their schools. We will do this as it concerns their rights as parents. Texas will require schools to post the Texas Parental Bill of Rights online so that parents have access to all of their rights. Also, school districts would be required to provide parents with information and options for charter schools, magnet schools, and other public schools as alternatives for their children. Parents will be restored to their rightful place as the preeminent decision maker for their children.
Yeah, it's okay now.
So now here in front of you, we're going to flip it around, and I'm going to sign in front of this terrific school the Parental Bill of Rights.
I'm just a witness.
What did I see? There I am on the big screen.
The Bill of Rights to protect parents in public schools.
Just to be clear, while I have executive authority here on campus, I have none at the state level. But I am honored to serve as the witness for this signing.
So next, we are going to get Bill Bennett to get involved. Secretary Bennett, again, I want to thank you for taking time to be here
Sure.
and sharing your expertise. I don't know if you can see what I can see, but it is a remarkable, wonderful, beautiful sight.
Sure is.
Did you have some things to share with us?
Yeah, I do. I do. A couple things. First, before we get to education, and already a lot's been said by you and by the students, but non-educational things. As a citizen, and the word was used earlier, resident of North Carolina and Maryland,